That's a tough one ahead on you.
Rich and Lonely Podcast, smartest podcast in the world. Welcome back, everybody. If you're joining us for the first time, my name's Rich, and it's a pleasure to have you. This week, we're going to be talking about the film Maria, Full of Grace. The film takes place between Colombia and the United States and follows the life of a 17-year-old Colombian girl named Maria Alvarez. In Colombia, she works at a flower plantation where she dethorns roses to help support her mother and her sister, who is an unemployed single mother. On top of her financial burdens, Maria's boyfriend is an unmotivated person who would rather settle for his situation than go outside his comfort zone. This becomes a critical factor in the film's plot because Maria is a strong-willed young woman with dreams of a better future, and she does not want to settle for less. After a series of events, Maria quits her job and ends up meeting someone that introduces her into the world of international drug smuggling. Maria finds out that she's pregnant shortly after quitting her job and comes to the realization that she has no real future with her boyfriend. After reflecting on her situation, she decides to accept the offer she was given to become a drug mule. This will give her a lot of money as well as take her to the United States. However, just like any other deal in criminal activity, this all comes with the risk of both her life and freedom. This film aims at giving the viewer a different image of what the typical criminal looks like. As viewers, we see the world from Maria's perspective and watch how unfairly she is treated by most of the people around her. It gives us an understanding for why she does the things she does. However, it does not glorify her criminal activity, the drug smuggling. Waiting for Maria to get to the United States induces a lot of anxiety and uncertainty as the reality of the danger is actualized by the presence of the other girl traveling with Maria named Lucy. Throughout the journey, you actively see Lucy degrade and become more and more sickly over time, representing a potential consequence of the smuggling method. Later on, we find out that Lucy has died as a result of one of the capsules containing cocaine tearing open inside of her. After hearing the news, Maria goes to meet Lucy's family, who is living in the United States. This interaction is how Maria gets her first real idea about how Colombians who moved in the United States are living. The opportunities shown for the Colombian community in the U.S. foreshadows Maria's decision to stay instead of returning to Colombia. Maria represents the vulnerable immigrant that wishes for a better future in an unjust world. The people running the drug smuggling industry represent a consequence of globalization on a transnational scale. Basically, people wouldn't be making money off of selling these drugs if there wasn't a demand for them, especially in the United States. Something really interesting I found about this movie is that it was written and directed by an American screenwriter. And although he was born in Los Angeles County, California, the family dynamics and values portrayed in the film were pretty accurate in some aspects to how Latino families actually operate. What I'm basically saying is that the feeling that Maria's families express and the people around them are somewhat relatable to the experiences of some of my own family living in Latin America today. Overall, I thought the movie was important because when we hear about things like drug smugglers on the news, we instantly imagine people who look more intimidating or who you would imagine fit the part. This film shows us that not all people who break the law are trying to, one, take advantage of anyone, or two, hurt anybody. Sometimes people's life situations push them to do things that they should not because they feel like they don't have any other option. Although in the face of the law, Maria is a criminal, in reality, she's just a young girl who's willing to risk her life in order to reach a better future. And once she accepts her pregnancy, her decisions start to be for someone else rather than for herself. Another interesting element of the movie was their use of religion in various scenes where the actions that are being shown are in direct contradiction to the actual Christian values and morals that Christianity would promote. The scene where the boss of the drug business puts the pellets into Maria's mouth in the film and on the cover is a play on the idea of a pastor giving communion to a follower. This kind of symbolism ends up being kind of ironic in the grand scheme of the whole film. In this story, the villain or the bad guy is not specifically a person, but an economic system that is the cause for Maria's economic struggles in Colombia, as well as the cause for the drug industry to both thrive and prosper through the exploitation of people living in poverty. I really like this film, and I think that it helped open my eyes up to an issue that is only really looked at from the outside. The system almost sets people up for failure unless they do whatever it takes to put food on the table. All right, everybody, I kind of gave you a little brief summary of Maria Full of Grace and kind of gave you a little bit of my opinions and some of the things I noticed. Do yourselves a favor, go check this one out too. Let me know what you think. If you have different perspective, think something opposite, or disagree with me all around, let me know. That's all for the show today. Catch us next week on Rich and Lonely podcast. Smartest podcast in the world. I'm Rich, and I'll catch y'all later. Thanks again, guys.